Now it's time for On Point, where we speak to experts to delve deeper into the biggest news stories in the spotlight right now. Of course, one of the biggest criticisms of the current Moon administration has been its dealing with the skyrocketing real estate prices. Of course, despite dozens of measures put in place, it has become even harder for many to achieve their dream of owning a home.
And even for single homeowners, tax burdens remain an issue, with both parties looking to resolve the problems regarding tax burdens and the skyrocketing real estate market. We'll get an expert view on how things will pan out moving forward. For this, we're joined by Professor Oh Jun-seok from the Business School at Sookmyung Women's University, joining us via Skype. Good morning, Professor.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Well, first off, there will be a lot of focus on how the next administration will deal with real estate policies. So which of President-elect Yoon Suk-yeol's real estate pledges stand out the most for you?
President-elect Yoon has promised to lower property taxes and ease regulations on loans and redevelopment, ramping up residential real estate supplies in the long term. I might say four main components of real estate pledge are supply-side driven policy, real estate tax reformation, and revitalizing rental housing business, and finally preventing speculation. Out of four, I'll choose real estate tax reformation as the most outstanding, returning to the normalcy of real estate utilization. Real estate tax reformation consists of two changes. First, merging comprehensive real estate tax into personal property tax, and second, to postpone heavy taxation and transfer tax for multiple homeowners. Within the framework of market mechanism aiming at efficient resource allocation, tax is considered as market friction, a source of inefficiency. Other things being equal, the less tax is the better policy. Overmore, there is an argument among tax experts violating Constitution when it comes to comprehensive real estate tax law. In this sense, it is appropriate to simplify the real estate tax and as a policy tool for inducing changes by market choice and let the side door open to make an exit from the market by lessening the tax burden. It is very to the point.
So, Professor, what we know so far is that the BOK will end up increasing its key interest rate further later down this year. Could this have a more significant role in controlling the skyrocketing housing prices, or will it indeed be the incoming Yoon administration and the President-elect Yoon Suk-yeol and his pledges that will impact the housing market more?
Both could help to control the real estate price by pressing down the speculative motivation. Reference rate in an economy is of great importance because it may be reflected in cost of capital. Real estate fund for speculation had been made by maximizing bank loan at about 1%, almost zero cost. This is financing technique is also called the high leveraged financing or thin capitalization. When the operating return is greater than the cost of capital, positive profit is guaranteed, so-called arbitrage profit. This market situation is made not by market, but by the monetary policy. And this is how speculative capital moves into the real estate market. As a result, market choose action for the best under given condition, prices soared while household debt from the bank maximized. Interest rate change would be one of the most powerful instruments. Now, the reference rate is 1.25%, would be held until the new administration takes office. It is supposed, in a way, to curb down the inflationary pressure and a way to control the real estate prices in urban areas. They will step up interest rate consecutively from May.
And Professor Oh, the ruling Democratic Party is looking to ease the real estate tax burden on single homeowners. And I heard there was a meeting this morning on this, and the Finance Ministry has decided to kind of maintain the current system for the meantime. So do you think the tax burden could be eased soon, and how will this affect the real estate market moving forward?
Simply speaking, as far as real estate policy is concerned, the government has lost public confidence. Up till recently, those who had kept to a single home by closely following the government guidance are subject to heavy property tax and cannot sell them due to higher capital gain tax from inflated prices. After recognizing politically disapproving atmosphere, the ruling Democratic Party has promised to return the tax on single home owners only to 2020 level. And as the spike in tax burden and housing price became the key cause of its defeat in the presidential election. And you mentioned that today in the morning, Ministry of Finance, they decide the tax exemption has widened to senior aged group. That is because comprehensive real estate tax burden is heavier than they simulated before. Now, many homeowners captivated in transfer tax demand opening exit equally from the real estate investment in a way to avoid a heavy tax burden. Without providing feasible procedures as a way out, the government went on rampage to levy the heavy tax. That is how many homeowners were upset, turning their back from the ruling Democratic Party. There comes increased political request that property taxes should be lessened afterward. It is, however, experts find the easing in property tax will be of little relief to the taxpayer, and they demand easing in the capital gain tax to facilitate the sale and increasing supply to bring down housing prices.
Professor Oh, you know, what's interesting is we have seen both the Democratic Party and the PPP clash over a number of different issues, but it does seem that the one common ground that they have is trying to tackle the skyrocketing housing market. You have the incoming Yoon administration. You still have the DP in control of the National Assembly. Can they really work together to eventually work together and try to tackle the housing price, the issue that all the citizens are facing right now?
I'm afraid not, because there is a slim chance of cooperation between the ruling Democratic Party and President-elect. Real estate prices are one of the toughest problems the Yoon administration will face. They are showing signs of rising again after the presidential election, with expectations mounting for the relaxation of redevelopment and reconstruction and the easing of property tax. Monetary tightening should be paralleled with real estate policy, which is far from populism. Just because President-elect Yoon can hardly expect the cooperation of the Congress, they have to take a roundabout of deregulation and simplifying administrative processes. People are not asking to be house rich. They just want a home, and they just want rent to become affordable. Skyrocketing home prices are one of the biggest failures of the current administration. If this problem is not solved, the 5 years of the new government will not be smooth either.
So I guess we'll just have to see what happens moving forward. Professor Oh, as always, thank you very much for your insights, and we do look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you.